All right, so you know what? Valdez told me that we did this last week where we had the video, the audio of various analysts jocking the Commanders.
I think this is the third week in a row.
Yeah. The national praise montage.
Yes. Here you go. This is week 5's version.
Here we go.
Last year, CJ Stroud had the best season that any rookie quarterback has ever had. To this point, Jayden Daniels has been better. Dan, what are we seeing?
Washington has found their Lamar Jackson. The playmaking with his feet is spectacular. And automatically, you're like, this team's going to contend for Super Bowls because of this young player. The passing, the timing of their pass game has gone up. Their zone read offense right now is
crazy.
You're getting like 5 yards a clip, and that's a bad play. They run the ball well with Brian Robinson. His connection with those receivers, he's unfazed. Nothing phases this young man.
You have certain quarterbacks. I said it was Lamar-esque because it's the time and how critical it is when you're actually making the play. You saw so many third downs that he had to get out on. You saw the ability to create and add extra time and push the ball downfield. But RC, sometimes, and we know in this league now with the athletic ability of defenders and how people are bringing pressure now up in A-gaps, they bringing people from all over the place. That element that he's added to the Washington Commanders offense has accentuated everybody else around him. Yeah. And I think that's what I'm most excited about with this team. I think they win the NFC East.
Could Jayden Daniels be the first MVP as a rookie since Jim Brown back in 1957?
That's been a while. 1957. Holy cow. Yeah. So let's use C.J. Stroud as a point of comparison. Last year, an amazing season. He reversed the league's worst franchise at that time, Houston, into a playoff team in 1 year. He had, the crazy touchdown to interception ratio, something in the ballpark, like 25 touchdowns thrown and 5 picks. It was nuts. CJ Stroud was awesome. And he finished 9th in MVP voting. But the case for Daniels feels more compelling, doesn't it? Even though he's also reversing a terrible franchise, it feels like it's better.
Is it too early to say that the Chicago Bears made a mistake not drafting Jayden Daniels?
The Bears did make a mistake. Jayden Daniels is the better quarterback right now.
Man, it's a lot of slurping going on. I love it. Love to hear it. By the way, the total for the game, Commanders-Ravens, tied for the highest total on the board in week 6, 52.5. Tied with the Lions-Cowboys total.
It's deserved praise. They have the number 1 scoring offense in the NFL. They're averaging 31 points per game. The defense the last 2 weeks, they've only allowed 27 points. Now, against inferior opponents, sure. Huge test against the Baltimore Ravens.
Well, something tells me that the Ravens are going to score more than 13 or 14 points against his defense.
There's no
doubt
about
that. I've got a sneaky feeling that they're not going to be held to under 20 points in this matchup.
But his game is most similar to Lamar Jackson. I can't remember which analyst said that. That's clearly the best comp.
Orlovsky and Spears.
Yeah.
It's the best comp. I mean, you look at the running stats. That's kind of what Lamar does. And Lamar also has good completion percentage usually and can pass the football. That's why he's won a couple of MVPs. I mean, if I had to bet right now, Jayden Daniels will probably win an MVP down the road. I don't think he'll win it this year.
He's not going to win it this year. He's not putting up the kind of numbers that are going to win an MVP, in my opinion. Now, when you add in rushing touchdowns and stuff, it looks a lot better. But I just don't think he's going to win MVP this year. I don't think.
But he's in the conversation.
He's a candidate.
Sure,
which is
top
great.
5, top 7
for him to be even in the mix. But as a rookie is astounding.
Of course, he's playing out of his mind. But he's just not putting up the kind of. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I don't think
as a quarterback, you got to put up more passing touchdowns, those kinds of.
Lamar only had 24 last year.
I'm not sure he's on pace for that. I don't know.
No, he's not on pace for it right now. But if he has a 3 touchdown game, then all of a sudden he can be, because 24 in 17 games is like 1.5 roughly.
Maybe I'm wrong.
1.5 per game.
I just don't think his passing numbers are going to be sexy enough. But we'll see.
Probably not. But if this game shoots out, he's going to have passing numbers in this game. He's definitely going to have them in the Carolina Panthers game because everybody gets there against the Panthers. And you would think the Bears game,
that could be a
good
shootout.
Offensive environment too. I think his passing numbers are going to escalate over the next month.
One would think. Look, last year Lamar Jackson won his second MVP. 24 touchdown passes to 7 interceptions. His passer rating was a 102.7. So that's the traditional. If you look at what Jayden has done so far, the touchdowns aren't going to get there, but he's limiting the interceptions. But his rushing is actually ahead of what Lamar did because Lamar only had 5 touchdown runs last year. So if you combine it, he had 29 total touchdowns to win the MVP. Jayden could get there for sure. Just it's going to be heavier on the run.
Total already. He already has 8 total touchdowns.
Yeah.
The MVP has become almost like a team award. It goes to the quarterback of the
best teams
the 1 seed.
Yeah.
In the NFC or the AFC.
Yeah.
Generally.
Yep.
So if Washington doesn't win the division, they're just a wild card. He's probably not going to win it. It's probably going to go to somebody who's on a division leader.
Like Sam Darnold, if he keeps his heater going.
Yeah.
Now, he didn't do anything over the weekend against the Jets.
Right. Or Lamar or Josh Allen or any of those guys.
Well, I talked.
Well, I was going to say Burrow, but they're not winning the division.
Right.
I talked about this yesterday, and Drabby didn't want to really get into it, but maybe I can touch on it a little bit now. We can go through it at another point. But when you look at the schedule for Washington, so they've got 4 wins now, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're saying, in my opinion, you got to get to 10 to pretty much, for the most part, cement yourself a playoff spot.
Yeah.
I would assume they beat the Panthers.
Yep.
They beat the Giants again. That's maybe a big assumption, but I'm assuming it.
Giants are a little more feisty than
They're
I
a little
give
better
them
than we
credit
think.
for.
I'll assume we beat the Titans. I'll
Should
assume
beat
we'll
them.
beat the Saints. That's 4. After that,
At the Saints is never an easy place to play, but they're coming off a bye
I just think
that
we're
week.
better. I just think we're better, but after that, like the Cowboys games could go either way.
Mhm.
Eagles games could go either way. Steelers could go either way.
Yeah.
Bears actually could go either way, even though I disrespect the Bears. I mean, Caleb's playing better and feeling more comfortable and scoring some points. So we got to stop thinking we're going to be a 1 seed or whatever. We just got to find a way to get to 10. Like, we're off to such a good start. I don't want to blow it now.
Well, can they get? I mean, they just got to go 6-6, right?
Yep.
Yeah, but I'm just telling you where they're going to come from. I see a
they're
couple
there.
guarantees
It's hard to predict it.
It is hard to predict
but
it.
they are there. 6 wins are there.
Well,
you
if you
just
give
have
us a
to.
couple
I'm
of
just trying to find
guarantees,
it. I'm trying
and
to
if you
find
can
it.
Because here's the
split
other thing.
with the
You also have to
the
remember
division.
that a lot of these teams, maybe not a lot, but some of these teams are going to have injury issues when you play them.
Well, I sure hope so.
I'm
just saying,
and
they
you're not
don't
going to
jump out at you.
They're not going to get completely swept by Dallas and Philly. They're not going to go 0-4 against them.
Okay,
Unlikely.
Unlikely, yeah.
I think you're right, but I don't know.
Well,
I'm trying to be realistic.
The Panthers pretty much a lock.
I think the Panthers is a lock.
That's
All right, so that's 5 wins right there.
No, I said that. Didn't I say that?
Yeah. I'm just going through it again.
Yeah, Panthers.
I'm going to assume Ravens loss. All right.
Yeah,
that's
me
kind of a
too.
gravy game because no one thought they were going to win that to start the year.
Right. I mean, if they win that, that's amazing.
But Panthers gives them 5 wins. All right. I don't think they're going to get swept by Philly or Dallas. So even if it's just 1, all right, that's 6.
I think they're going to beat the Steelers at home.
Maybe they beat the. All right, that's 7.
I think
Titans.
they're going to beat them.
All right, I think the Titans.
I think we're going to beat the Titans.
Titans are counterfeit.
That's
that should be a
8.
W.
So I'm looking at 8 guarantees, and you just got to come up with 2 more.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but they're not.
2 more
they're
will
not
happen.
going to be easy.
No, of course, it's not
It's
going
the
to be
NFL. It's not easy.
Never
It is
easy.
But a
for some
team that's
teams.
4-1
I think the Chiefs are
that
playing
has
good. They're 5-0.
a team that's 4-1 that has the number 1 scoring offense in the NFL. And until proven otherwise, it doesn't look like it's slowing down. You would think they could at least go 500 the rest of the way. If they go 500 the rest of the way, they get to 10.
In a vacuum, and I don't think the schedule is super hard, but I'm just looking at it going, I don't see them just obviously jumping out at me, the wins.
Sked is actually setting up pretty nicely for them.
I think it's a good schedule, especially the next 4 games. Like the Ravens would be brutal. And I said this maybe 2 weeks ago. I think we can get to 7-2.
Well, if you're at 7-2, you could go 3-5 down the stretch, and you're still at 10 wins.
I think I'm just hung up on it. I think I even made this prediction, like a second half swoon. I hope it doesn't happen. But
again, remember, teams will, and it'll happen to Washington as well. They'll have injuries that will affect their status. You just hope it's not Daniels.
And I know you can't pick week to week, but sometimes you can. Sometimes.
Well, there's 2 games. There's no, if they're completely, the same health as what they have now.
Yeah.
They don't have any major injuries. There's no chance that they lose to Tennessee or Carolina.
I know. I agree. That's 6.
That's 6.
I mean, they should bury those teams,
But
especially Carolina.
Yeah.
And they're not going to go 0 for the next.
And I think they should beat the Saints.
10. They're not going to go, or yeah,
No.
0 for. They're not going to go 0-10 in the other.
No, of course
10
not.
games. They're going to
But
win
I don't
some
know
of
if
those
they can get to 10. Now, getting to 10 is still a big task. All I'm saying is keep expectations. Let's keep expectations reasonable because we're talking about being a 1 seed and Jayden being MVP. And I just think we're getting a little crazy. Like, I think we're butt fun to watch.
This is a big if, but if Jayden outduels Lamar in Baltimore this weekend, they win the game.
That puts him on the map.
That thrusts him right into the top 3 or 4 for MVP.
Right. But
and it also thrusts them into a possible number 1 seed overall.
Right. Now, I don't think that's going to happen. I think Baltimore. I don't know if they're going to handle them. I think it's going to be relatively close. I don't see a blowout, but if they find a way to beat Baltimore,
I'll take all the caution seatbelts off.
Yeah,
I'll take it all off.
Right.
And I'll just go anything's possible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If they beat the Ravens, I'll say anything's possible.